Hello everyone, I'm back and I'm gonna do some marbling. So what I got is wallpaper paste. Now this is the Dutch name behang plaksel. So you learned your Dutch word today. Behang is wallpaper and plaksel is paste. In Germany they say tapetenkleber. So you know how that is pronounced in German. All it really is, I'll show you, these little flocky things. And sorry about the dogs that are barking in the background, but that's the neighbor. So a little bit of this, like a spoonful, maybe two spoonfuls, and I cook the water, I boil the water, and then it gets to this consistency. But you don't want to put this in here because there are a lot of lumps in here. So all I have is just a real cheap tray. And what I do is I get one of those sieves. Like this. And then we add some of this to the serving tray. And as you can see, everything, all of the bubbles and stuff will be left behind, the little big bits, because you want this as smooth as possible. Now, when I add water, I use this. This is demineralized water, and it is really cheap. It's something like not even $1 for a gallon, so it's really cheap. So that's what I add. And as you can see, you need a lot of it. And I'm spilling a lot of it, but I'll clean that up later. Now, with this thing, I am going to mix it up. And as you can see, it's not enough, so what you want to do is add a little bit more. Like that. And then we do this again. Now, the people that do marbling, you know, as their only hobby, and they want to do it really professional-like, they will use carrageenan. And carrageenan, you'll have to Google that. It is seaweed that sort of thickens anything that is fluid. And it is edible. They use it in food also. But for people that want to just, you know, just once in a while do the paper marbling, this is more than enough. So I'm going to stop the video right here. Let me put the rest of the water in. I'm going to stop the video here and I'm going to make some paint, and I'll be right back. Now the next part is making the paint, and what I want to do is I want some pink because I want to make some cherry blossoms, something like that. So what I put in the cup is a little bit, just normal paint, acrylic paint. This is the Winsor & Newton stuff. And I'm going to put in a little bit of white to make it pinky-like. So that's titanium white, and it's permanent rosé. So I'm going to mix those two up together, as you can see, and we get a nice pink. That's more than enough. Now, then we add a little bit of water. And we start to really mix this stuff up. Oops, already dropped some paint in the water. I really don't want to do that. Don't want to get it all dirty before I start doing the actual marbling. Now, because we're going to make this really thin, you have to really mix it up. Make sure it's nice and smooth, or you're going to get these little blobs of paint. So it has to be totally smooth and absolutely no bumps whatsoever. Okay, that's pretty much it. There are little air bubbles in it, but they'll go out once I add a little bit more of the water. Okay. Now, to make this float, sometimes you can just float the paint all by itself. I'll just test it. And what I do is I just take a long-haired brush, put some of that paint on there, and just tap it. Now, this is already floating because I don't see anything falling through the surface. So, but you're not seeing it because I'm only doing one color. Oh yes, you can see it. So, I have added absolutely nothing to it. All this is, oops, that's the brush. See where this peels off? And you really don't want that in your water because that's gonna lift off. Now, when we do the black, I'm gonna do some black because that's better for you guys to see. So, black in there, a little bit of water. Now, a lot of people who want to take it to the next level will be adding ox gall. Ox gall is exactly that. It's the gall that is in the gallbladder of a cow. And they take that out and then they put it in a bottle and they sell it to us. So that's pretty gross. But ox gall makes the paint sort of really spread out and sort of helps it float. And if you can't get that, although everyone that has a big art store somewhere, there will be ox gall in it. But if you can't find it, you can always use this. This is Kodak Professional Photo Flow. This one is way over the expiration date, but it still works. Now I'm going to get another brush, and here we go. Now you can really see it. And as you can see, it's just floating nicely on top, although the circles it's making they're not really tight little neat little circles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some oxygol. Just 1, 2, 3 drops. 1, 2, 3 drops. And I'm going to put that right in there. Add a little bit more water. Just it's itty bitty. There we go. Now we're going to put the brush in and we're going to put some more on there. Now you will eventually see that the more paint you put on the surface, the less room it has to move. Now the less room it has to move, the smaller the little circle things will be. I have to do this one. Okie dokie. This one's working better. Now, and the fun part with marbling is that you get to make a lot of patterns. You can, of course, you can add a lot of color. You can do metallics in here. I've done that before. And any colors that you really like to use, you can use it. And I'm just using a brush, but normally the marblers have something that looks like, you have the garden brooms. They cut off those things off the broom, and then they put them together with an elastic band, and they use that. But as you can see, this works fine. It's not a big deal. It is messy though. So now I'm going to add more of that nice pink, especially on the black, because I like that. And now you can see that everything that is round is sort of staying round. because it has less room to spread. Okay, now we got that finished. Now what you really would want to do is you can pick this up as it is here, or you can just, oh, those dogs are driving me crazy. So you can pick this up, or you can use something like this and you can manipulate it. See how slowly you can sort of drag through it, but because the water is a little bit thicker, you will see that it is sort of stabilized. I think that's the good word. Okay, I think it's time to pick it up. Now, because we're just doing this, you know, in between, we don't want all the really expensive stuff. All this is really cheap printer paper. Now, the thing is, you take it by the corners, the opposite corners, and you lay it down, just like that. And you let it soak up a bit. And then you take the same thing that you manipulated the paint with, you pick it up and you pull it over the side, and voila, there we have it. It is totally picked up by the paper, and as you can see, there's almost nothing left on the paper. Even here you can see it's already drying. Is that pretty? Yes, it is. It is pretty. And you can see what you got left. So to clean this off, because maybe you want to use totally different colors, all you have to do is put your paper in here and you pull it up. And here you can see where some of the color went through. See, even this, you just take it off. And I have some down here, so I'll turn it around. And people that do a lot of marbling, they have these pieces of newspaper that they use to pick up the excess paint. There it is. Now here you can see, I'll push it up so you can see it. There is still some dirty stuff going on, but that's okay. Don't worry about that. The only thing you don't want is all these bubbles before you start again. So what I'm going to do is just burst the bubbles. Okay. Now this will not pick up on the paper. So I'm going to do the same thing. Only this time I'm going to really load it up with pink. A lot. And don't really worry about the grubbiness of the water, because you'll see that it doesn't really matter how much you have in the water. So this is pretty much loaded up. A little bit more here. And the more you do this, the more, the less room there is for it to spread. So when we now go over to take the black, I should have done a little bit more, but you'll see. See that? Now the black is almost not spreading. And that's what you want. But we're going to give it a little bit more. More and more. And right now I have everything covered in pink and black paint, because it does make a lot of a mess. So if you're going to do this, and especially with children, you might want to cover everything in a perimeter of about, I don't know, I'd say 6 to 8 feet, because it does splash all over the place. Now for the black. Oh, that's going to sink right through because that was a really big blob of black. There we go. Now, if you're really into it, you can make one of these. These are toothpicks, which I glued to a piece of wood. And all you have to do is you put it in here and you pull up like that. And I have absolutely no room to maneuver this thing. And then you might want to do it the other way down. And then you get these beautiful little patterns. And you take your paper, both sides, both corners, you put it in. You let it soak a little bit. Get your little pointy thing, pick it up, and you just drag it over the side here. And here we go. There it is. It's a lot of fun, guys. It really is. And children are really, when they do this, they are going, wow! You know, because it works and it looks cool. Now, if you really want to take it to the next level, you can do this on fabric. So you could take a piece of silk and you could put it in, and then you'd have to fixate it, but there's stuff to do that. And then you have a beautiful silk scarf with this type of pattern in it. That's really nice. Now I'm gonna get a really nice color. This time I'm gonna use the Vallejo fluid. Because it's already fluid, it won't take that much water. So that's gonna work fine. Oops. How did I get pink in there? I'm not sure. Okie dokie. And maybe, you know, you want these brushes. These are pig's hair brushes. They're just a little cheaper. And if you're doing this with a couple of kids, you're going to need that. You'll need a lot of brushes. You want a brush for each color. Now there's a little bit too much oxgall in this one. That's why it's spreading so much. But I'm going to load this up before I really do anything. So I'm going to give it a lot of color. And then I'm going to do the pink again, because I want a lot of pink. Oops. Now you can see that it is almost not spreading anymore because of the surface tension is almost gone because there's no room. But that's okay. Usually a couple of drops of extra oxgall will make it move again. And if not, then it's just a sign that the surface is pretty much covered with a lot of paint. So I'm doing the black again. See if the black will move it. No, black won't move either. See that? This is when you know that there's just a lot of paint on there. So I do want a couple of little of those black specks because I like that. And then I'm going to give it a little bit more of this. And I want to see if I can, if I use the Vallejo, if it will help. So I'm going to put this really bright pink in there. And a little bit of water. And again, another brush. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, look at that. Now this is a sign that there's a lot of oxgall in here. And then you get these big holes, which you guys might like. So I'm gonna show you how this looks. And let it wait a little bit, and then we're gonna take it off again. Oops. And then you get this. See that? Those really big. There's a name for all of these patterns, but I didn't really remember them, but there is a name for this. Now we're going to do one more, but put a little bit more of the just a little bit more paint in there, because I'd really like to see a little bit more going on. Okay, and then I want to come in with the black. But there's a lot that fell through, so let me give it a little bit more water. See what happens when we do that. Nope, not working. A little bit more oxgal. You'll have to really experiment around with, nope. See that? And then all of a sudden it just stops to work. So then you have to clean this out. But because this is such cheap stuff, you could make like 100 of these with one of these packets. So it's not that expensive. But there's nothing going on now, so I'm gonna try this one. That one will hold it because there's a lot of paint on there. We'll just do one more. Too bad the black didn't do it anymore. This one does. And it depends, I think, on the pigment of the paints. So that's something that you'll have to work with. But you know, if one color doesn't work, I think you should just take another color and try it out. This doesn't work either, so now we're gonna pick this up. And we'll just let it soak in a little bit. Sometimes, you know, you can put your hand over it, but I can see that there's no air underneath, so that's okay. And now we have a pink background with big blue. I think you're seeing it as green, but they're blue turquoise dots. So guys, that's it. If you want to do some paper marbling and you want to, you know, keep it really cheap, this is the way to do it. Just a little bit of wallpaper glue and a little bit, well, you might want to buy that, the oxgal, because I think that is really, it helps spread the paint. And now I can clean this off and fill it again, because I have a whole bowl of this stuff, as you can see. And this was, I think, 2 tablespoons of wallpaper glue. And you can play with this all day. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Love you all to pieces. Later.